to get HIV. There's very specific things that have to happen before you can get HIV. There's really three things that need to happen. Right? The virus has to be present. HIV doesn't come out of the sky. There's no magic HIV fairy that comes around with a little thing and poof, suddenly you have HIV. You know, the only way to get HIV is from another human that has HIV. So HIV has to be present. All right. The second thing is it has to be in high enough quantities. All right. You don't just get HIV by having sex and suddenly you magically have it. There has to be enough of the virus in that fluid in order to be transmissible. All right. Blood has a lot of it, and then other fluids have a little bit less, so it takes a little bit more of the fluid to be able to transmit it. But it has to have a high enough quantity. And you'll hear a little bit how that comes into play later on. And then the third thing is that it has to get into the bloodstream. All right? HIV attacks the T cells. The T cells are in the blood. It's not something that just gets, through osmosis, goes to the skin, or permeates anything. It has to get into the bloodstream. And the only way to do that is through some kind of cut or tear, rip in your skin that lets it into the blood. All right? Your skin is an unbelievable part of your immune system, and it protects you from a lot of things. So it has to get through that. And unfortunately, the ways it gets into the bloodstream are things like sharing needles, tattoo needles, piercing needles, drug needles, unprotected sex, because that causes little microscopic tears in the anus and the vagina, the mouth, or really wherever else you decide to have sex. So it causes these little tiny microscopic tears that you wouldn't even notice. And then the third way is really mother to child. And we don't actually, San Diego does a pretty good job at making sure mothers test for HIV. So you don't see a whole lot of babies being born positive because their mother is positive. Because it happens through birth. It's not, the mother doesn't just give it to them, in utero. It happens when they're giving birth through the vaginal birth or through breast milk, because the baby's immune system is really weak. So ingesting that breast milk can cause the baby to become infected. So as long as you test, the mother tests and knows her status, the baby can absolutely be healthy. So that's it. Those are the three really things that HIV, that's the way you get HIV. Sex, direct blood, or mother to child. And really, if you think about it, the number one reason people are getting HIV is through sexual intercourse. That's the highest transmission method. So it's unprotected sex. The one thing that everybody likes doing, and we all like to have fun with and joke around about, because it's fun, it feels good, and we enjoy it. But it's also the one thing that we're just not responsible enough with. It's really, really important that you remember that we're really talking about something that is easily preventable. It's just taking a little bit of responsibility for your own health and the person you are intimate with, taking care of their health. All right. So now let's jump back into my story about how I became infected with HIV. What was the year? I have some notes here. Around the later half of 2005, I was living in San Diego, and I started getting really sick. I started getting my sickness was not like the flu, like you hear a lot of